And
No, actually, when I was a young little boy, I had a wonderful father who was a big strapping man, bigger than me. And I would sit on his lap, and he was left-handed, and I would sit there with his army tattoo, and I would squeeze his muscles and play with his muscles. And my father, who was left-handed, was doing stick figures on a little piece of paper. So, like what every son would do, he wants to emulate his father. So I started doing stick figures. Then I graduated from the stick figures to paint by number. How many did paint by number? And I wasn't allowed to call my mother mom, but I said, Mother, 22 is running into 13. And number 6 is all dried up. But that was really my introduction into painting, was doing the paint by numbers. And then I did what a lot of people started doing. I started adding stuff in there because I got sick and tired of following the rules, paint the numbers, do this and that. And so I started doing that. My father was so proud of me because I did my first drawing was of JFK. And my dad took it down to the police department and showed all of the policemen because he was so proud of that. He showed Mayor Lugar, who was one of our senators from Indianapolis. And my dad, I was a basketball player, and that was, I chased the high school girls and played basketball. Right, Scott? So did Scott, by the way. We've had some great talks about basketball days. But anyway, so basketball was one of the most important things to me at that time in my life. And I played and always hung around all the guys that were really good. And that's how I learned. And one of the things that was interesting about my father, he knew that he wanted to encourage the art. So he enrolled me in the famous artist school, Westport, Connecticut, of all the great illustrators. And that was like 600 and some bucks. And my dad was just a police officer. He didn't have much money, but he really invested in me. And I'm so grateful for my father. He was a wonderful man. As a policeman, he would go and in the terrible neighborhood, the devastated neighborhood that was on his route, he would buy the shoes for the little kids because he knew that they didn't have shoes, on his beat. He saw that, and my mother had to tell him, Charles, that's really honorable, that's really wonderful, but, you're taking our grocery money, but my mother and dad really supported me and loved me and let me be Chucky. And so then I went to college. I played college basketball. And when I was down in Lenore, Rhine, they didn't have an art department, but I went to college to play basketball, not to learn anything about art. And all the ball players said, man, you need to be in a school where you can get art, because I would paint down there. And I think that was my first oil painting, was 1965. And so I transferred from that school because I got the picture. The coach's nephew was a freshman like I was, and he was going to get all the playing time. And so I transferred to Ball State University, where I could work on an art degree and a teaching degree, and played basketball at Ball State. And I think that the art started really kicking in when I moved out to California. I decided I wanted to get a master's degree in art, which now I would tell, I'd tell nobody to see that, just get out there and work hard. But, so I wanted to get a master's degree, so I went to Long Beach State. And before finishing my master's degree, all I had to do was the final, the 20 paintings for your final project. And I left the university to go be in a band that traveled all over the Western United States to play music. Because I realized, hey, I got what I want out of here. I don't care anything about degrees, and they're not important to me. What's important is the experience. And that took me into doing, when I was out in California and in bands and stuff, I would do dog portraits and chase women on the beach and play volleyball and basketball. That's what I did out in California, in Manhattan Beach. And then I moved back to Indiana, and one of the most amazing things happened to me in my life. In my own town, I ran into the most wonderful woman that you would ever want to know, my lovely wife, Rebecca. Rebecca is the greatest thing that has ever happened to me next to Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, she does everything, and Kevin McPherson nicknamed her Saint Rebecca. And you will all know, because as you've seen, I'm a real weirdo idiot, and she has my back, and she did everything. There was no way I would have a career if it hadn't been for her. So let's give her a wonderful hand. We got a room.
All right, so do we have that video or not? Let's try. Okay, thank you so much. My apologies, CW.
I don't know where you got some of this footage. It's really...
Rebecca, Saint Rebecca.
Oh, really? Oh. That shocks me, Little shots of little Chucky Monday.
All right. Okay, we're going to try it.
Charles Gordon Mundy, today known as CW, was born in 1945 in Indianapolis. His hard-working parents raised two children, a girl, Charlene, and a boy, Charles. Early on, Charles displayed a talent for art and athletics. He was very familiar with the art of Walt Disney and Norman Rockwell, and spent much time observing their work, such as the covers of the Saturday Evening Post. So at 7 years old, when he was commissioned by the Daily Vacation Bible School teacher to produce advertisements, he copied Walt Disney cartoon figures with the message, "Come to Daily Vacation Bible School," on the cardboard. While growing up, another passion of his was basketball. Charles was a starting guard on the Howe High School varsity basketball team, even helping to take his team to the semi-state in 1964. His abilities in basketball earned him a scholarship to Lenoir-Rhyne College in North Carolina, and he later transferred to Ball State University in Indiana, where he could pursue both basketball and art. At BSU, CW took every art class they offered, and he played in various bands. He became interested in banjo after hearing Flatt & Scruggs' The Ballad of Chet Clampett. In 1969, he earned an undergraduate degree from BSU in secondary education, with an emphasis on art. After college, CW moved to California and studied painting from life under Donald Putt Putman in Hermosa Beach. Putt was the first living artist that CW had met who actually had a vibrant art career and was making money in the cowboy western art world. At the same time, CW also pursued his music, playing in a popular band called the Tarzan Swing Band. Later, he would meet his future wife, Rebecca, while playing in a gospel bluegrass band. Moving back to Indiana in the late 1970s, CW combined his love for sports and art and began his Sports Illustration career, founding his company, Champion Illustrated Sports. His commissions for the next decade include many professional teams and organizations. For example, he was the first artist illustrator for the famed Indiana University basketball coach, Bobby Knight. CW and Rebecca married in 1989, and shortly after, CW made the change from Sports Illustration to fine art after observing artwork by Clyde Ashcliffe and Richard Schmidt. It was exciting to him to discover these artists painting like the old pros. In 1995, the couple traveled to the Chicago Art Institute for Claude Monet, 1840 to 1926, the largest retrospective of his painting ever assembled, which he says got his attention. Later in 1995, they visited France and followed in the footsteps of Monet and the Impressionists on what turned out to be the first of many plein-air painting trips to Europe, including a trip to Italy in 96, England in 97, and Spain in 98, and more over the next decade. In 2003, they traveled to the Netherlands because CW was so influenced by the works of early Dutch masters. While traveling, Rebecca would shoot video footage and photographs of CW painting on location. And upon returning home to Indiana, they produced a professional video and brochures of each trip for the purpose of a gift to clients who purchased the paintings. Still life painting grabbed CW's attention after studying the works of Emile Carlsen, Henri Fantin-Latour, and the French impressionists such as Van Gogh, Renoir, and Manet. CW has also been inspired to paint figurative work in various series, including ballerinas, portraiture, and children of the beach. For CW, painting representational figures, still life, and plein air became a natural revolving situation. Working for several months with a figure, then outdoors in plein air, then back in the studio painting from life. The rhythm kept him fresh and excited. CW has had a teaching career for more than 25 years. He is the recipient of many awards and honors, including Master Artist with the Oil Painters of America, Master Artist with the American Impressionist Society, a Fellow with the American Society of Marine Artists, and a part of In Plein Air Masters in France in 2005 through 2006. CW was recently honored in 2018 through 2019 to be the first inaugural Artist in Residence at the Children's Museum of Indianapolis, the largest children's museum in the world. CW has been driven to continually be seeking new and fresh ways to paint, never resting on his laurels, always trying to push himself forward. Plein Air magazine publisher Eric Rhodes said this of CW: "He is so good. His work is so strong. I honestly did not think he could ever get any better. Yet I watch him push through, experimenting and doing paintings that push the boundaries of great painting. In the years to come, CW Mundy will be remembered not only as one of the great artists of this generation, but will go down in history as one of the greats of all time." Please join us in celebrating CW as we present him with our highest honor, the Plein Air Magazine Lifetime Achievement Award.
I want to thank you very much. Thank you. I certainly don't deserve this. In fact, I asked Eric when he called me about that. I said, "When are you going to do that?" And he said, "I want to do it before you kick the bucket." But I wanted to thank a few people, and first of all and foremost, Rebecca, please stand up again. Let's give her a big hand. She's the backbone of this whole thing. And where's Rosemary? Is she here, Rosemary? Anyway, my career would not be what it is had it not be for Rosemary and her wonderful brushes. Let's give her a big hand. Come on. Michael and Karen Harding, are they in the room? Michael Harding's paints. I have some wonderful stories if you want to hear how he got me to be involved in his paint. It's pretty interesting. It was at Eric's plein air painting extravaganza in Monterey, the first time I met him. And I want to thank all my close friends and family who flew here, who drove here, and came here to be a part of this. And it really means a great deal to me. I'm just so grateful for you guys. Let's give them a hand. Let's stand up. Come on, stand up, you guys. Thank you again. And I just wanted to say this. The reason I participate in something like this and all the years that I've taught is really my love for people. And this is one of the wonderful things. This is why Eric and I have established a great relationship, because it's about one thing. It's about what can we do, how can we serve people, and how can we encourage them in this wonderful thing called the art adventure. And this is the whole reason for me, this is the reason I agreed to do this and come here and get this award, because I love the relationship that I have with all you people. I consider all you people on my Facebook family, Instagram. I'm so grateful for all your comments. They mean so much, and I do try to really use that as a forum to teach, to tell you what I'm trying to accomplish. So I just want you to be here, enjoy this event, take the advantage of it. This is a big investment for your career, but it's a very helpful investment, and there's so many friendships and so many people that you get a chance to meet and become a friend. There's people you'll meet you never knew existed on this planet. And so it's a wonderful thing. So I want you right now to stand up, and I want you to give this guy here a great hand. Come on. Come on, get up.
Rebecca, do you want to come up and get the photo, please? Saint Rebecca?
Yes.
All right. Round of applause for Rebecca and CW. All right. Thank you, man. Thank you. God bless you. All right. All right. Next up, we have a lot of previous recipients of this award in the room, and many around the world. So give it up for those previous recipients. I'd like to ask Michelle Dunaway to come up here. Would you come up and join us for this? Michelle has really helped us put together a special honor for her dear friend, and I want you to be a part of this. Michelle is known for her incredible ability. She's going to do a demo for us tonight. Give it up for Michelle Dunaway. We were talking, and I think that her friend Jane Seymour has done probably more than any person alive to be able to bring attention, call attention to art. Because she has a worldwide platform, because she's a celebrity, a large celebrity, and because she's brought so much time and attention to painting, and the world knows her not only as an actor, but also as a painter. And tonight we want to honor Jane, so let's try to roll that video. All right, we're going to try it one more time. Okay. You want to say something, Michelle? Let's see. All right. I think it's on. Okay. You tell us a little bit about your relationship with Jane and how you first met. Can we have the this mic on, please? Okay. It's on. Okay. There we go.
No. No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, talk into my lapel mic. Okay. Well, I don't know what the problem is. Yeah, try this mic. Okay. Podium mic, please.
Is this one working? Yeah. Okay, well, while the magnificent AV team fixed that, I'll share a little bit. When I met Jane, it was 20 years ago now, I think. And she asked me if I would come over to her house and give her some oil painting lessons. And I was a big fan of her movies ever since I was a little girl, so as a teenager. And we became fast friends. Eric touched on everything that she's done to bring awareness to the arts, through her platform. And I have to say, as amazing as an actor as she is, and been celebrated for that, her love and dedication to oil painting never ceases to inspire me. I remember one of the first times, I hope you don't mind me saying this, Jane, wherever you're, one of the first times I was giving her a lesson, she was getting ready to go to the Emmys. So she's like, I have to go, I'm gonna go to do the Emmys. And she came back in with her hair in rollers in her ball gown, and she's like, I just want to work a little bit more on my painting. And that, as a young artist, being in galleries for the first time and having deadlines, I was like, that's the dedication I need to succeed at art. And she really inspired me. And I mean, it may not have ever told you that, Jane, but that moment I was like, that's the passion that you need to pursue art. And I think we all have that passion.
I think the video is ready.
Great.
All right, we'll try it one more time. Come up here so you can see it.
Known perhaps most famously for her acting roles such as Solitaire in the James Bond film Live and Let Die, Kate Trask in the miniseries East of Eden, and Dr. Michaela Quinn in the hit television series Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. Jane Seymour was born in 1951 in England to a Jewish doctor and a Dutch nurse. She was raised in Wimbledon with her birth name of Joyce Penelope Wilhelmina Frankenberg. As a child, she was surrounded by the arts. Her father had a love of Japanese art, and the family was often casually performing, dancing, and singing. As a teen, Jane wanted to be a ballerina, and so she attended a school for performing arts. When she was just 13, she made her professional debut with the London Festival Ballet. That same year, she entered the Arts Educational Trust for dance, music, and theater training, and danced with the visiting Kirov Ballet at Covent Garden. Her love of art began at an early age in England, where family gifts were always created rather than purchased, so that the true spirit of giving of oneself was expressed. Jane began painting around the 1990s when she was prompted by a period of personal challenge. Soon, her art became the expression of a very private healing process. A profound experience that influenced Jane as a colorist was her discovery of the Impressionists, Matisse's stunning motifs, and Chagall's magical palette. Her lightly designed studies of floral patterns were inspired by the vibrant watercolors of Raoul Dufy. The influence of these artists continues to grace her work today. Jane remains challenged by studying the paintings of one of her most admired artists, John Singer Sargent, and painting in the grand manner tradition with legendary living masters. An inspirational trip to paint in Monet's garden in 2001 became Jane's personal tribute to the Impressionists. From this, she co-produced the first in a planned series of art education films on the masters, titled Journey to Impressionism. Having commissioned Tom Mielko, the noted Santa Barbara watercolorist, to paint a portrait of her children, she became motivated to begin painting with him. She continues to paint with others and also had the pleasure of painting with the late Richard Schmid. Jane enjoys the feeling of being one with nature and the outdoors, painting some of her most beautiful canvases in plein air. Inspiring others to paint and the feeling of community and healing it creates are abundantly rewarding to her. Her art also serves as inspiration for Open Hearts by Jane Seymour, a unique and beautiful jewelry line. Inspired by her original paintings of two hearts connected and open at either end, the designs symbolize that love has no boundaries and flows unconditionally. When she's not acting, writing, or designing, Jane can be found in her Malibu, California painting studio. With a thriving career as an artist and her own art gallery in Los Angeles, she has exhibited in numerous galleries and venues across North America. Over the past 33 years, she has created an intimate world of delicate watercolors, vibrant oil paintings, pastels, and bronze sculptures, and has accepted select private commissions. She continues to reach new artistic levels by developing her technique, style, and subject matter. The artist's first one-woman museum exhibition was mounted at the Butler Institute of American Art in 2004. She has also created set designs for the Houston Ballet and a commission for the Fort Worth Dallas Ballet. She was chosen as the official artist for the 2006 Naples Winter Wine Festival and was a featured painter for the Olympics 3 times. A multiple Emmy and Golden Globe winner, recipient of the Officer of the British Empire in the year 2000, which was bestowed upon her by Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace, and recipient of the Horatio Alger Award. Jane has proven her talents in virtually all media. In addition to acting, Jane has written over 10 books and has launched Jane Seymour Designs, a national lifestyle brand inspired by her homes, art, and family-centered lifestyle. She is also involved in many philanthropic causes and in 2010 launched the Open Hearts Foundation, which provides funds to charitable organizations. It is a great privilege for us to recognize the life and work of Jane Seymour. Her high-profile career and artistic efforts have raised awareness of painting and art-making worldwide, influencing millions. Please join us in celebrating Jane as we present her with our highest honor, the Plein Air Magazine Lifetime Achievement Award.
Presented to Jane Seymour, May 2023, Plein Air Convention, Denver, Colorado, in recognition for your lifetime of dedication to the pursuit of beauty and excellence in painting. Congratulations.
Well, first of all, Eric, thank you. And Michelle, you promised me this was going to be something really special. And I feel very humbled, you know, CW and all of you and all these great painters and teachers. But I humbly accept this because art has always meant so much to me. And most of my life story has been just told. So I can tell you that when I was a little kid, all I could do was draw all the time. I just drew and drew and drew and painted, but they were always tiny little things. And I went to this ballet school and I had to do art A-levels, the equivalent to the first years of college. And the teacher said to me, you won't pass doing anything small, you've got to be really big. Well, I wanted to be a ballerina, so I would dance, that would be really big, I'd spin and all of that. And she gave me this huge paper and I said, I can't do anything with that because I do things very perfectly, like that, you know, exactly how I see it. And she said, well, you won't pass. So you, here's the paper, you've got unlimited supply. You're already a year late in this course, so just, you know, hit the sides of the paper. And so I just did what she said, and I hit the sides of the paper. And the next thing I knew, I was dancing. I was dancing with a paintbrush. I was dancing with the charcoal. And it was the most amazing revelation because it opened me up as a human being. It opened me up definitely as an artist. And it opened me up as a dancer, as an actress, as in everything, because it was about having studied, but then letting it go, as I just heard earlier, letting it go, not judging it while you're doing it. Just put it out there and see what happens. So I then cut to, I was at the height of my career. I was married, I had 2 children, I was nominated for everything I did or won awards. I was called Queen of the Miniseries. I was making more money than any actress my age at that time. And I then one day found out that my husband was not only unfaithful, he admitted to 14 other people, two of whom were nannies. But he lost all my money and left me 9 million in the red with lawsuits from every major bank, including the FDIC. So I did 2 things. One is I was at a fundraiser for Childhood USA, who I worked with, and my mother and our family, we'd always supported the non-profit for abused children. I just always thought that was the worst thing. That was my thing. And so I didn't know how, when you don't have any money, how does that work? I didn't know. So there was this guy called Tom Mielko in a silent auction. He was a very lovely artist. And he was offering to paint or draw your children for a silent auction. Well, nobody really had bid on it, so I had no money left except for what was in the handbag. And I put it down and I thought, my mother always said, there are always people worse off than you. And that if you can help them, it will help you, so which is my mantra with the open heart. So I put it down and I thought, well, I don't know how bankruptcy works, but I don't think anyone's going to want a drawing of my children. So I might get to keep that if I lose the house. Anyway, cut a long story short, Tom, whom I'd never met before, came to my house to do photographs of my kids, saw these finger paintings in the playroom, said, who did these? And I said, I did. He said, they're really good. He said, do you paint? I said, well, not really. And he said, yes, you do. I said, it's finger paint on finger paint paper. And he said, anyway, I told him the truth. I said, I have nothing, no money, I'm about to lose the house. I really don't know how I'm going to get food on the table or how I'm going to get out of this terrible debt. And he said, I'll teach you. And I said, I have no money to pay you. I don't even have money to buy stuff. And he said, well, I'm going to teach you watercolor. He said, I've got a couple of days, put some big pieces of paper in a bathtub and then take it out and stretch it. I'm already threatened by the size of the paper. And he brought the watercolors and he showed me how to paint wet on wet. And he showed me how to do watercolor. And I painted my way out of despair, out of anxiety, out of abject fear and horror and pain and torture. And I painted this serene life. I painted these lakes. I painted the ocean. I painted water, and it was just magical. So I took that gift, and yes, indeed, I was homeless. I called my agent and said, I need to work yesterday. He called the networks. They came up with a little movie of the week that they guaranteed would never be a series. So now, I knew how to paint watercolor. I had nowhere to paint it. Dr. Quinn rented a little apartment house for me so I could start work the following day. Didn't even ask me if I rode a horse. I mean, I did know about medicine. My father was a doctor, but, horses not quite so much. So anyway, yes, I was literally in the saddle the next day, and I was still, somewhat stressed. You can imagine, now I have to learn 9 pages a day. I have to live in a hotel, take care of my kids, figure out lawyers. It was all more than I could possibly imagine. So I would paint on set. And then the props guys would come up to me and they'd make me this little table. So I used to paint. I painted my first watercolors whilst filming Dr. Quinn. In costume, and I might add, I never spilt. But I would be painting away and painting away. They said, we need you on set. Oh, well, I'm sorry, I'm in a wet wash. You gotta wait. I can't, it's gonna get ruined. And then sometimes I'd be painting and it would start raining and they'd rush in and they'd grab my painting, put plastic over it, take it away. So painting is my greatest joy. And one of my biggest joys is to find people who are convinced they can't draw a stick figure. who are absolutely convinced they can't paint and never will, and get them painting. And guess who I got painting that way? Joe Lando from Dr. Quinn. He didn't even know he loved it. He just thought he loved mountain biking and hiking. And now he loves to paint. My kids paint, everyone around me, we do that. That's what my family always did for fun in the summer at St. Catherine's. We had a home in England that was over 1,000 years old, and we used to invite teachers to come and teach us everything, whether it was watercolor or oils or sculpture. Did a lot of sculpture. And I ended up sculpting people. I didn't know I could do that. My first ones actually looked like human beings. It was astounding. And then I came up with this open heart, and now I've got these big, huge monumental sculptures in, I think, 8 cities around in Canada and America, which is so exciting. I've raised a lot of money for charity with my art. And I think one of the most exciting things was, they put me in a book called Actors as Artists. And I just started painting, really. And the next thing I knew, Discover Card was doing a credit card called Private Issue, and they wanted famous people who painted. So they asked Ringo Starr, Flojo, and me to be the first 3. And I had done a painting of still life, a very loose, watery still life, and they chose that. They put it on the credit card. They showed 3 of my paintings at the Guggenheim. You don't usually start at the Guggenheim. Telling you, I'll never be there again except to look at other people's work. But they showed mine there, and mine raised $25,000 at auction and enabled 5 families to take a dying child and make a Wish Foundation. And I was heavily pregnant at the time. Anyway, my then husband turned to me and said, "You're going to go home and you're going to paint, and I'm going to build you a little studio." So eventually I got married, and I painted, and it became a passion for me. And I did, as you see, some of these other things. I also had the audacity to show my art to Michael Schwartz in Gallery Michael, who actually liked it a lot and said, "We'll represent you." And I said, "You represent Rembrandt and like every impressionist." And he said, "Well, we don't have any living artists, or not very many, and we like you." So. And then he introduced me to, I can't remember the name of who it was, but one of the famous Impressionist painters, and had her teach me how to do Impressionism, so I learned all the tiny strokes. Then I was invited to Giverny to film and to paint in Giverny, in Monet's gardens, when there's no one there. And that was magical. So my journey with art, I have a very eclectic style. I do a lot of everything. I do love to paint people because as an actor, and I'm still a working actress, I'm actually starring in my own series right now called Harry Wilde on Acorn, but I wanted to paint myself. Other people would paint portraits, or they paint dancers, and because I've been a dancer, I know when they don't paint it right, when the turnout isn't correct, or it irks me. So I started painting dancers, and then I started painting myself, because I do have, a crooked smile and 2 different colored eyes, and everyone tries to fix my face because they think I'm very symmetrical, but I'm not at all. And then I've, painted live on television, terrifying, don't recommend it. No, in a competition where they are determined that you're not going to win, so they give you the worst angle. That's the only thing I have a problem with, is when there's a lot of people painting, and I always seem to get the back end of the chicken. What does chicken look like from the front? I think I can remember, or they're moving too fast or whatever it is. But I am passionate about art. I am passionate about artists. I love artists of all kinds. I am not afraid, like these demos, I can't wait to do it. I'm not afraid of trying something completely different. I want to try completely different. I want to go right out of my box. I want to, get the acrylics out and put 20 different colors on and scrape away, and then, suddenly something becomes something that I can relate to. So I have my own kind of sense of style, but it always comes from learning from the masters. And Susan Nash-Lukes is here. She's been representing my art since the beginning, before pandemics and things, and I got too busy. We did about 12 shows a year, one-woman shows, so she had me painting all the time. And then Sherry Ingle, who's also here with me and now runs my JS Design, she's an amazing artist, far better than mine. Yeah. But what she's really good at doing is making sure that when I'm painting, that I don't give up and go, I hate it, and tear it up, or, you know, throw paint on it, or rip it up, or, you know. And I've had the privilege of working with phenomenal artists. I mean, I sat at Richard Schmidt's for 3 days. I sat at his easel with him right next to me, with his paints, his brushes, his canvas, and his wife, right? She's incredibly talented too. And I'm there painting with him, and I'm just going, this is surreal. This is just, this doesn't happen. It was just amazing. And then Michelle came, and we made friends, and I fell in love with her art. And then we had who did we have? Lip King, yep, and the whole crowd. Daniel Keys, I can't remember. There's a whole crowd of all these amazing young painters. They're brilliant, and they all studied under Richard Schmidt. And they came to paint at my house. And I had a biggish house, and I had a couple of decorative-looking children who were willing to put vintage clothing on. And the next thing I know, this painting becomes Michelle Dunaway's, you know, one of your famous paintings, which, needless to say, I had to purchase. I mean, I don't want to let my children out of the house. I mean, she can show it, but. And then, if you go to my home now, it's just full of Michelle Dunaway. Then she had to paint all the other children, and then she had to paint me. And I just said, I don't really want to be painted by myself. I'm a grandmother. I want to be painted with my grandchildren. So she did the most beautiful painting. And all I can say is the greatest gift that I was ever given in my life was to be introduced to creating art. You have that gift. That's why you're here. Go out there, meet one another, try different things, try things you're not comfortable with, and see what happens. See if you end up dancing on the canvas like I do. And then take it out and find people that go, oh, well, you can paint, but I can't. Or no, I've never tried, I never would. And then just try some little fun little wet on wet things with them, where the you know, the inks or the watercolor move, and they have happy accidents happen, and take their hands away from you, don't let them touch it, wait till it dries or get the hairdryer out, and then say, what do you see in this? And then give them a Sharpie and see if they find something in it, or even design. Or, I mean, I've painted at medical conferences where we're all having the rubber chicken dinner and no one really knows how to talk, you know, the science that they're doing. So I give them little pieces of watercolor paper, and I have some brushes there and some watercolor pencils. The next thing I know, they're painting cell divisions. You have no idea how brilliant cell divisions can be. And so really, I truly believe that everyone, the artist is within all of us. Be free, be you. There is no right, there is no wrong. There are very handy, brilliant techniques that you can learn from. But then be authentic, you know, and if that means you're throwing paint on a canvas, so be it.
James Seymour. Don't go too far. So it's been, I've introduced you to Michelle Dunaway. We're gonna kind of set the stage. It'll just take a minute, but we have a very rare treat. Michelle is gonna do our first demo of the convention. And I said to Michelle, you know, Michelle is a portrait artist. She's also a plein air artist. And I said, I would love to have